everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. I'm your host, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator, and I am back with another amazing author, Janet Krebs, author of Your Itsy Bitsy. Let me see if you can see this. Your Amazing Itsy Bitsy Guide to Parenting Like a Leader. 15 universal shifts to raising the standout adults of tomorrow. Welcome to the show, Janet.
Thank you. My absolute pleasure.
So it's funny that you wrote this book because I am often heard saying that kids don't come with a user's manual. And in my own book, I even wrote that I personally read from cover to cover, because I'm a reader, what to expect when you're expecting. And when my daughter was born, and as we've navigated the last 33 years of life, nothing could have prepared me to raise a little girl who couldn't hear, who doesn't talk. At the time, for the first 7 years, wasn't walking. Nothing in life prepared me forward. But I realized a little bit later on that God gave her to me because he knew that I could handle her. And it was through her that I found my voice, which then allowed me to be her advocate. But honestly, I would have liked to have just a few things, right? Just to help me help me navigate the journey.
Well, it's so funny that you even mentioned that too. Like, so much comes to mind. You've read this. So, like, even in the intro, I think I even talk about, you come home from, Target or whatever with a brand new air fryer or a coffee maker, and there's 20 pages of how to use it. But you literally come home from the hospital with a living, breathing human being and you have no instruction. So, there's that. But the other thing that you just said also resonates and should resonate, will resonate to all of the listeners who are parents, and that is we prepare to have the baby. We don't prepare to raise the adult. And so it's almost as though the baby comes home, right? What to expect when you're expecting. Okay, baby's home now. And even that series, which I also read, we could share funny stories about that off camera, is that they even wrote then like the 2-year-old, and like they even went on to write like what to expect when you've got the teen. But for a long time, it was just expecting the baby. So I believe like we do it to ourselves. Like we shortchange ourselves with this tunnel vision. And then we're all with the, oh my gosh, now what?
Now, what is for real? So, listen, Janet, I want to, before we get a little bit more into this topic, I would love for you to tell our listening, viewing audience just, who is Janet? And then we'll get a little bit more into the book topic. Everyone knows I want you to buy your own copy of the book so that you can have your own experience. So, Janet, tell us about your background.
I honestly, it's funny. I don't normally lead with what I'm about to tell you, but I grew up in a cemetery in that was our family business. And I know, like, it's like one out of, I mean, somebody's got to own the cemetery, right? So I spent my entire childhood understanding that legacy really was like what was engraved on granite was mother, father, brother, sister, daughter, son, right? And so I roles within family always just remained essential priority. Fast forward into choosing my own careers. I was a teacher, HR, all relational professions. And then when I became a parent, it was while I was a teacher. And the beautiful thing about it was, for me, it was a learning laboratory 24/7. I tried out strategies in the classroom. I tried it out at home. What worked at home worked in the classroom. It's like, oh my gosh, this was just really as, for me, an everlasting study in human behavior. And so I would say I am a lifelong, like now at 61, I have been studying human behavior for 50 of my alive years. And I honestly just came to the point where now, of course, family is being redefined and challenged. And I think it's unfair. And so I really felt compelled, like we're finger pointing at many
Mm.
different things and we're not solving the problem. And I don't know that this book necessarily or my coaching or whatever solves problems, but it sure does provide strategy. And in a world where we are all looking for answers and strategies, that was like, I just believe that this is where God, the universe, whatever you believe in, has placed me. And this will be my last movement, mission while I am on this earth.
Wow. So there's a couple of things that I want to unpack that you said. And I firmly believe that families are under attack. Um, we all know that the dynamic of family has shifted. I started off my adulthood as a single parent, and then in 2008 got married. And so I was able to experience the traditional household. Now, I've never been a traditional wife just because when I got married, I was already well into my career, so you are pretty much who you are. I wasn't staying at home. Now, let me just say this. Fast forward to today, 2025. My husband laughs because at the young, tender age of 52, I don't work as hard as I used to work. And part of that is because, wait, part of that,
How dare you decide to do like what?
well, you know what? When I was about to turn 50, I literally had this meltdown. And I think part of it was because I was so used to being on the go.
Yeah,
I was chasing after, um, I think part of chasing after a certain amount that I wanted to earn in a year, right? I've always been happy, but where I am today, I'm not in retirement, but I'm in the preferment stage of my life because I'm only doing what I want to do.
that's right.
And right now, my husband laughs because he's like, "You get up every day at like 8:30 a.m." I'm like, "Yes, I do." But my grandfather is currently 104 years old,
Oh,
and there are so many reasons why granddad is 104. Number one, God is the head of his life. And so I know without, any uncertainty that that's one of the primary reasons. But I also know it's because he made it his lifelong mission to be kind to others, to give back. And as I watched him navigate being my grandfather, then a great grandfather to my daughter, and then a great great grandfather, not to my not from me, but my cousin's daughter had a son. So as I watch him interact with all of us, so many life lessons that I would love to bottle up in a book, but I just really feel like there's this attack on families. There is an attack on love and commitment and
Well,
support.
yes and no. Like, yes, I agree with you 400%. You're using my words. And yet, the last talk I gave was to a group of chemical engineers who absolutely loved the discussion of leadership as legacy because they said the processes and the procedures and the what, the tactics, the strategies, they can learn that in a book. For all we know, AI will take over that. But how they interact with their colleagues, with their bosses, with their customers, they are terrible at. And that's not even the language that they used. And so I believe that like we are under attack in many different ways, but the human spirit is what's under attack, and it's humans that live within family. So yes, I dedicate my life to leadership within the home, but boy, I'll tell you, it certainly has transferability into many different areas of our lives because we are relational at the core of what we're doing, living in a very transactional world. And we're learning that that is not serving us as well as we thought it should, or maybe it did when we were better balanced in it, but we're so out of balance right now with transaction that everyone is starving for this relational cup to be filled.
Wow. So you mentioned AI. And something that crossed my mind recently when I was giving a presentation was the 1960s show, The Jetsons. You remember that TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it restreamed in the 70s when I was born. But what I'm reminded of is that was the future that we could not imagine, and we're living that future now. And so now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the Jetsons because I would like to identify what the dynamics of their relationship look like. Because is there a connection there? You know how they say art
Yeah,
always
that's funny.
imitates life?
That's funny. Yeah. That would actually be really fun for all of us to do just to see. And whoever does that, like puts it on like Netflix or something like that, will that'll be like the next subscription that we're all addicted to.
Yes, yes. So listen, tell us a little bit about the point that you got to where you decided I have to write this. But also, I like how, let me just also give you this disclaimer. You did not write this for people over the reading age stage because the font is a little small for us seasoned folks. But what was your breaking point? And I think you talked about this a little bit, where you decided to capture this in writing, and how has it helped you as you help others?
Well, I that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. So for listeners, you can't see, but I call it's really a booklet. It's a booklet, right? Like it's very thin. It's like 30 some odd pages. And because this is kind of like oh my gosh, I need help with kind of a thing. And they're just ideas. They're sentence starters. They're idea starters. They're conversation starters. Uh, and actually, my email is in this book. And I don't have a massive team, folks. Like I answer every single email that comes across that comes to me from this because I am on a mission to just help people. And so the inspiration for the book is exactly that. It's bite-sized nuggets that might make the reader go, huh, that's interesting. I can explore that more. And you can explore that with me. You can explore that with your friends. You can explore that on Google University. But it's a little bit of I won't say little. Many of the things in here are shifts to the way in which you might currently be thinking. A great example, this is like a global trend, I believe, that's happening right now. But we've got, when I was in the classroom, helicopter parent was just some like 1 out of 60 parents, right? And we all knew who they were, the overindulgent parent. But now, like helicopter parenting has become a thing. We've named all these kinds of parenting, right? There's gentle parenting, and like it's for making crazy. And I love being able to, when somebody says, look, I was reading on page 19, bullet number 2, right? Can you tell me about that more? Like it's a great framework to work from. So it's wonderful for like all of my coaching families, they have the book so we can go through it together if that's of interest to them. It's just another tool in the toolbox, really. But I just, as a standalone, it's a conversation starter.
It also, and I don't know if you've done this yet, but this is a great book club um, book where you can have conversations about these topics, because I think we have conversations about everything else, but we don't really get into thought provoking questions about parenting, right? We're kind of like situational, if you will.
Yeah, very situational. I love, and yes, somebody asked, like, this would be a great thing to create a Facebook community, and you could come on once a week and discuss blah, blah, blah. I'm not opposed. I just don't really want to set it up. And I really believe that, again, it's relational. And I know we can have these virtual relationships, but I just really get a charge out of working with people one on one. But I'm not ruling out the possibility. I just need somebody to set it up for me because I don't really want to do it.
Oh, listen. I currently do not have a Facebook group myself. However, after reading this book called Who Not How, I realized I don't have to do it all. I
Right.
just need to find me a who to get
Oh,
it done. To get it done, because they already know how to do it, and I'm the visionary behind it. So just some food for thought, because I really see that there's a lot of parents who, and I've done some, I have not taught in the elementary school system. I've not taught the high school system. I don't want any parts of that. However, I have gone in as a guest speaker. And as I'm talking to young people about, their futures and careers, I often wonder what's going on at home. Like, is mom and or dad having these conversations with them? Because I know that in some of the communities I work with, they're single parents and they barely are just surviving. And I want to see them thrive, but I go back to that old school mindset. It takes a village. And I think we lost that a little bit along the way.
yeah, and I would agree with that 100%. And just as a disclaimer, this book was not written for the two family, like the two parent model family, like, and I think that's part of my mission with that is that there is no shame in asking for help. There is no shame in not having all of the answers. And I even talk about the fact that family, like we've even redefined family so many different ways. And so there is no cookie cutter definition of family. Family is however you live with whomever you live with. Like that's family. I don't care whether it's in like it doesn't matter the where, like you just said, who, not how. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter why, doesn't matter if you're multi-generational, single parent. I don't really care. It's about connecting with the people that you call family and stepping in as the role model. Like the influencers are not on Facebook or TikTok. The influencers are in your family. They are the people that are in leadership within your home.
Well, Janet, I'm going to tell you this now. To reach those people, you're going to have to go on to TikTok and grab them, because unfortunately, that's where they're sitting and learning. I had a social media manager, and she was like, you got to go on TikTok to reach your audience, some of your audience. I'm like, I don't want to go on TikTok. I'm on all this other crap. I just want to do what I do. But one of the things I realized when I got on there, I had people inbox me and say, thank you for the short 20, 30-second message. It was really powerful, and I'd like to talk to you further about XYZ. So yeah, I guess we'll both have to get someone to set up our set up our groups. Because I don't know about you, but building and leaving a legacy is also very important to me. And I think that as parents, it's our responsibility to help the next generation. But it's a little scary. I don't know how old, if you have children or how old they are. And I read so many books. So after a while, I get lost on who's who. But trying to talk to my kids about death, my adult children, has not gone over well. It's like, what do I, I'm going to die. And I want you to be prepared with XYZ. And so parenting just doesn't end once they hit 18. It's like forever.
It's forever. And that, I believe, is something that we forget. Like, if you are blessed, so my children are 28 and 32 currently in 2025. And I am blessed all the time with the knowing that I will just get a random text and it's like, hey, I'm busy, but I'll call you later. Or, I have a question. I'm going to call you at 4:30. Like, they know that I'm here for them. But they have lives, they have jobs, they have wives and husbands, like they have their own lives, but knowing that I get included in that, that's my legacy, Dr. Lisa. Honestly, like, I just feel very content knowing that given a choice, I get a yes.
I love it. I love it. So we have about 9 or so minutes left. And I like to ask authors this question. So you have the different shifts in the book. So we'll give a couple of breadcrumbs about the book. What's your favorite as an individual shift?
I could answer that so many ways. But I think it would have to be the entire notion that, and this actually, you and I with conversation, it's going to be more understood than it actually is in the book because these are just nuggets. Leadership is a posture, not a position.
Oh, say it again for the folks in the back.
That's the name. I actually have a talk entitled that. Leadership is a posture, not a position. And parenting is leadership. And I believe that when we understand that, when we step into that, we blur the lines of leadership being only in corporate America. And you remember Oprah? You get a car, right? I'm on a mission. I'm going to give every parent a raise. You get a raise, you get a raise, and you get a raise. Because think about this. Parents are the CEOs, but not chief executives. We are the chief everything officers, chief nutrition, chief financial, chief logistics, chief everything officers. And we never think of ourselves as that. So back to your question, soapbox moment over. When everybody can step into, when parents can step into, you know what? I really am a leader and I am badass and I can do this. And some days are going to be better than others. But you know what? I got this.
Oh my gosh.
That's when we're going to change the dynamic within families. And that's when we're going to change society and the world.
So, Janet, you just gave me an idea. You just gave me an idea.
Good.
So, you can borrow this if you want to. But I'm meeting with a young lady, and she's a young mom. And I'm going to tell her, you know what? You are the leader of your household more than once a year when you file head of household on your taxes. You are a leader every single day
I
of the
love that.
year.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
that's
gosh.
like my biggest, that's like and imagine, like, if I may make the observation, even as I was talking, your eyes even just got like bigger and you sat up a little bit straighter. And I see this all the time. And it makes a difference. Like, you walk into a room and you got four kids, fighting, and you're just like, can you please stop what you're doing? Rather than, this is going to end in 5, 4, three, two, one, turn around, walk away, and then there's consequences if it doesn't happen. Like it's really just not that hard. But being a leader in that moment is essential.
Yes, and something else that I've been working with young moms on, and it's leadership, but it's also something that we all need, is that emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And that exact example that you said. And the funny thing is, my oldest daughter, I can just look at her. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously she can't hear me, right? But I can just give her this look like, mommy's not pleased. I need you to sit back down. You just ate, and let's have at it.
Do you know that I actually flubbed, if that's a word? That's a great word for an author, right? I flubbed an interview, a teaching interview once. And I'm so glad I didn't get that job, but that's another story as well. And the principal said, what asked what my classroom management strategy was. And I said, I don't need one. I've got the look. And that was not enough in a time when you had to have stickers and check marks and stars. I was like, I don't have time for that. I got the look.
Yes. Well, you know what? I think that's just old school. It's definitely old school. However, I will say the look does not work with the grandsons. It and it does not. My daughter and son-in-law, they are of the gentle parenting.
Yeah, well,
And the little boys are not gentle.
well, I will say, as far as gentle parenting goes, there's an age where I think that expires, or that expires, and
Oh,
so
say that again. Say that again for Paul and Haley.
Paul and Haley, I think at the age of 2, it's time to change strategies because gentle parenting does not work with tenacious children.
Mm.
They're
Listen,
smart. It's because they're so smart and tenacious and free-willed and they want to explore and we want them to.
well,
So
you
it
know
doesn't
what?
work.
But something you said in the book, which is a huge distraction for them, is this technology that they have their head in. I think it doesn't allow them to develop true skills. Like, yeah, yes, they develop some skills. It keeps them quiet, all the things, right? But just being able to have a conversation with someone and look them in the eyes, to me, that's the part that they're missing.
I have a colleague who has the answer, absolute solution to that. We can talk about that another time, or you can interview her. She wrote 7 books.
Whoa.
Yeah, that combats that exactly.
And
It gamifies life and gets kids off of technology.
I
Very
love it.
cool.
I
Very cool.
love it.
Yeah.
So, Janet, what does the future hold for you? I know you're just a young 61, vibrant.
That's a great question. I am like I breathe this, Dr. Lisa. I just do. Like this is an imperative, and I'm not. This will be my, like I said, this is my life's work. So more stages and more audiences and more families that we can help so that we can change the world one family at a time.
I love that, one family at a time, because you're not going to change everybody at the same time. But when you change one, you actually can change another because they have conversations with each other. And my coach Janet is working with us on XYZ, right?
We can do it.
Oh yeah, we definitely can do it. I want to see it. I ask my grandfather all the time, like, what do you think about living on this earth for all of these years? And his answer is always always the same. Put God first and be nice to everyone. That's his answer to everything. But granddad definitely um, was not of the gentle parenting
No.
style. Granddaddy would say, "Meet me in the garage." um, it's when you got older, right, and you weren't listening. And he really wasn't doing anything but trying to have a conversation with you outside of being in front of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But everybody thought when you went to the garage, you got a spanking, but I never got that. We
Yeah.
always had a rational conversation.
Yeah,
And I only went one time, so.
we look to our yesteryear sometimes with disdain. And I would just invite people to keep an open mind because that generation really had some things. They had some pearls and nuggets. I grew up in that generation and I didn't turn out so badly. So, I mean, I can regulate my emotions. I didn't have anybody over helicoptering. So, I think there's a lot to learn. We just have to reframe it and repackage it so that
I
it's palatable to the young parents of today.
I love it. I love it. So before we go, please tell our listening and viewing audience where they can find you today, even though we know you and I may get a Facebook group. I
Somebody
say that
tells me,
loosely because I'm trying to avoid it like the plague.
the easiest way is just to email me at ask@janetkrebs.com. That's the email, ask@janetkrebs.com. But I'm on I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn primarily. I am starting to upload all of my videos onto YouTube, but I just use my name. So just Google Janet Krebs with a K and you'll find me and I will answer you.
I love it. I love it. So I also see that there are some other books in the background, and I know from the back of the back part of your book, you mentioned some other books. So can you tell our listening, viewing audience some of the other books that you've written? I see one right couple back there.
Yeah, those are just some fun, there's a lot of value in storytelling. And so, like, one of those are all compilation books. And so, there's a chapter of my origin story and chapters of overcoming, all sorts of things. And then there was one about mental health, which I believe we have a crisis in mental health, and a lot of it is with our kids. So I addressed that. So just some fun projects to help some other authors.
So you're just having fun like me.
Well, we have so many, we just think of it as we have so many messages to share that given a stage or an audience to share it with, we never say no, right?
Well, you know what? I've started to say no a little bit.
Well, yeah, but
Just because I've, you know how you do that on the hamster wheel lifestyle for a
not
while?
anymore.
Yeah, I'm over that.
Yeah, no, when I say yes, it's just like that's a great project. I'm happy to contribute. Uh, and that was just, and now, I mean, I'm done for a while. I'm done for a minute. Like 4 is good, 3 of those, and then 1 of my own. And I think the next one will be a kid's book, but if I do another book. But right now, I'm focusing on families and audiences and stages that want to learn about leadership in the house.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
stopping by 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. Oh, one more question.
Yeah.
And where are you located?
I'm actually in Indianapolis.
So I'm in Chicago, so we're not that far away.
Whoa. Oh, that sounds like a road trip waiting to happen.
Absolutely. And funny thing is, I don't know where this town is in comparison to Indy. I order tea, loose tea from the little tea shop in Nashville, Indiana.
Okay. That's
And I've been
about
ordering
an
it,
hour.
yeah, for like the last 5 or 6 years. And I told her, I said, I have to come and visit you because I've been ordering this tea and I've never been there.
Well, you come through and I will go with you. How's that? I'll drive.
Yes, yes. All right, Janet. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being a part of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. I wish you the best with touching one family at a time. I believe that that's such an important assignment that you have for your life and the lives of others because it's so important. And let me know when the next book comes out. So I can take a look at it. My bookshelves are overflowing. I said, I think I need a room, like you know how they have this she shed? I want a book shed.
Look at here. It's called the She Library.
Yes, yes. And the funny thing is, it's funny you mentioned that. And I have to show you this because you're gonna chuckle. all of my books, I have a little library stamp on
I
it
love that.
because this is my book. So hopefully my husband will be interested in building this for me. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another amazing episode, 52 Authors, 52 Weeks. I just finished chatting with Janet Krebs, author of Your Amazing Itty Bitty Guide to Parenting Like a Leader, 15 Universal Shifts to Raising the Standout Adults of Tomorrow. Everybody have a great day.
Bye for now.